Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of rslash entitled people. In today's episode, friend's dad keeps opening my packages. I want to sit there, so can you move to another seat? Can we have your seat? Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Friend's dad keeps opening my packages. I am 19. Have been living with my friend's parents for almost a year now and pay rent for my own room. But lately I've been getting more and more pissed by the fact that my friend's dad is always prying on my privacy. For starters, he wanted access to my bank account so that he could help with spending habits, to which I immediately said no to, because it's my money and he's not my dad. And plus he controls my friend's spending and I don't want that. He also really likes opening my packages for whatever reason. And even though it's never anything bad, usually just collectibles or figures, I'm getting really sick of the fact that I always come home and find my packages on my bed, opened. Just yesterday, I had come home from some military training and was super excited to open and set up a Cyberpunk Edge runner's light on my wall, only to find that it was yet again open and completely missing the wall mounts. And asked him politely if he had opened my package, but as per usual, he lied and denied it. Even though I get photos from the delivery driver and it was clearly him. Later that night, I found the little bag of wall mounts in the trash. I don't really know what to do at this point, just kind of felt like venting. Get a P.O. box or see if you can pick up your packages elsewhere. Yes, or get it sent to a pickup point where you can pick it up in person yourself. 1. Find other place to live. 2. Tell him it's a federal crime to open other people's mail, and if he does it again, you'll report him to the feds. 3. When he opens your mail again, report him to the feds. If OP can't find another place to live, then this seems like a bad course of action. Why antagonize the person you're living with over this? The P.O. box solution adequately solves the problem without adding any more confrontation or tension to the living environment. If you can't afford to move, then get a P.O. box and have your mail delivered there. He's overstepping and treating you like a child instead of a renter. I want to sit there, so can you move to another seat? So, this was a couple of months ago. I was on my way to London, and I took a night coach. For those unaware, a coach is like a luxury bus, seat belts, leather seats, Wi-Fi, plugs, toilets, stuff like that. Start of the journey. Like most coaches, you have to book tickets in advance, but you can pay extra to reserve a seat. Any other seat is first come first served. Where I get on is the first stop of the coach's route to London, so it's free reign to pick any seat not marked as reserved. I then go all the way back and choose to sit at the emergency exit. It has the most leg room and there's some distance from the seat in front of me, so I can put the tray down and not breaking my neck watching a film on my tablet. It was a 10-hour journey and I was enjoying my time, watching some films on my tablet and munching on some snacks for the journey. I'm so used to traveling on buses and coaches, so this wasn't anything new. 3 hours in. At this point, it's midnight, and the coach arrives at a station to let a lot of people on. At the time, I didn't notice that someone was trying to talk to me. A mix of focused on the film and my headphones were noise canceling. He gave me a slight shake to get my attention, which he did. I took off my headphones and he asked me, "EP, can I sit there, please?" Now, I thought he wanted to sit next to me and he asked because my rucksack and shopping bag was on the other seat. I'm not antisocial, so I wasn't going to say no, but I decided to ask to clarify, and this is the conversation that happens. Me, "Oh, do you want me to move my stuff for you to sit down?" EP, "No. I mean, can I have both of these seats for me and my wife?" Me, "Well, no, because I'm sitting here currently, mate." EP, "Yes, but we want to sit there. So give me these seats." Me, "Not being funny, mate, but I also want to sit here. That's the reason I sat here." EP, "I know, but I want to sit there now, so move please." Me, "So where am I supposed to sit then?" EP, "The seats in front of us are free." Me, "There you go. You can sit there then." EP, "But that's not where we want to sit." Me, "Look, I'm sorry, mate, but I'm not going to move from where I am just because you want to sit here with your missus, all right? If you reserve these seats, then fair enough, I would absolutely move. But these seats aren't reserved, so no, I'm not moving. Excuse me. At that point, I put my headphones back on, and that was the end of that. I saw him walk down to the front of the coach, no idea if he went to complain to the driver or what, but I didn't care as I knew I was in the right. Sure, I was quite rude at the end, but I wasn't going to give up my spot just because someone asked me to when I had already settled down in the seat. A couple minutes later, I did see he and his wife come back up to me. They walked past and sat behind me. What's funny is that they glared at me as they walked by. It should be worth mentioning that he didn't have any visible or physical disabilities. If he needed leg room for a disabled access, he would have said, and even then, that's what the front of the coach is for disabled access. In fact, he and his wife were way skinnier than me, and I'm a fat bloke. For the last 6 hours, they sat behind me. I didn't hear what they were saying, but a part of me jokingly thought that they were planning to take over my seats if I went up and used the loo, but I never did, so I never found out. I had something similar happen on a plane where I was flying first class. I boarded late, and when I boarded, I noticed a gentleman sitting in my seat. It was the type of plane with one seat on one side and two on the other. I was in the single row. I told him, "Excuse me, you're in my seat." He takes a deep sigh and says, "Really? I've been sitting here not for 30 minutes and I'm all settled in." I looked around and saw the first class section was completely full. "I paid for this seat," I told him. At this point, the airline staff approached. He gave them the same spiel about being settled in. He asked them if we could simply switch seats. This bitch was seated in row 28. I watched as he gathered his belongings, and he even side-checked me as he had to go back to his seat. WTF is wrong with people? Recently went on a cruise ship. Had some sailing days where we didn't stop at a port, so everyone wanted sun loungers that day. I get up early and so had my pick of all of them. They were all laid out 4 in a row, the inner 2 being in the shade and the outer 2 being in the sun, with a footpath then next to the outer 2. My husband and I settled ourselves into the outer 2 for a day in the sun. At about 2 p.m., a couple came along looking for sun loungers, and the 2 in the shade next to ours were the only 2 left on the whole ship. Clearly, they didn't want to lay in the shade, so proceeded to pick them both up and lay them the other side of ours, blocking the footpath. Immediately, people were struggling to walk through us due to the blockage they caused, and an officer from the ship came along and asked my husband and I to move our loungers in so that people could get through. I explained the situation, that we'd been their day, and the other couple had moved theirs causing the blockage. "So, sorry, but no, I'm not moving mine." She accepted my explanation and walked away. More and more people were struggling to get through the path, and the guy from the other couple got up, came over to us and said, "You know, I really think you guys should pull your loungers in so that people can get past." The absolute entitlement of this guy, thinking he can cause a blockage and then expect us to move. I gave him a piece of my mind, and eventually they vacated the loungers and moved along. "I don't think you were rude. I think you were simply direct. Good job." I chucked at that. Sure, I was quite rude at the end. Huh? When? Where? Quick reread. Nah. Nope. You gotta love Opie's demonstration of classic UK manners in response to actual rudeness. Culture norms and how they differ from place to place have always fascinated me. I had something similar happen in high school. I used to walk a few bus stops up from the one outside school because I didn't want to deal with pushing to get on with other students. I took this bus every day and sat in the same seat as I was usually the first on and last off. I always say in the back because there was more room. I wasn't one of the popular kids, but I didn't care. One day I had some kid who never took that bus tell me I was sitting in his seat and to move. He didn't quite know what to do when I refused to move. Guess the popular kid wasn't used to someone standing up to him. "Can we have your seat?" First-time poster. I've shared this story elsewhere, but since I've finally found a sub dedicated to fools like these I'm about to mention, I'd figure I'd share it here. So here it goes. It was 2019, Valentine's Day, which happened to be on a Thursday. I had just got off work and went to a particular chicken place chain in the South that is known for their famous chicken sauce. And while I used to stop here every Saturday night, I was feeling peachy and decided to treat myself for that evening. When I arrived, it was expectedly busy, and, funny enough, I was the only single person eating alone that night. I lived 30 minutes away from where I used to work, so I got my boneless wings and sat down to eat. About 5 minutes in, a young couple, maybe late teens/early 20s, came in. got their order, and started looking for a seat. I take occasional glances from my phone but do not think anything of it. When I notice them approach me from the corner of my eye, coming within 2 to 3 feet of me, and the interaction goes like this. BF. GF. Me. BF. Hey, are you about done, please? We need a place to eat, and there is nowhere else to sit. I'm a little taken aback by this, as I've been sitting for almost 5 minutes as well. Me. I'm not even halfway through. Sorry, man. Why not take it home? BF. Stares at me. No one else is almost finished eating, and I and my GF want to sit and eat here, not take it home. Any chance of me getting a Togo box and taking it home just went out the door. Me. Sorry, but I'm not getting up. His face gets red as a beet. GF. Let's take it home, since this asshole doesn't have the decency to be nice and give it up. Thank you for ruining our night. I now stare at her. They go up, talk to the then manager who I was very cool with and knew who I was from coming in regularly, and left hastily out the door. As I finish 10 minutes later and get to leave, I see him and we both exchange glances and we both snicker at each other, and with that, I leave to go home. Still remains one of my most bizarre encounters with the public. The entitlement of some folks never ceases to amaze me. I don't understand how they expect to sit anywhere, with their heads that far up their asses. Sheesh. Doesn't have the decency to be nice and give it up. I laughed so hard at this my girlfriend stared at me like I'm crazy. If anyone said that, I would have replied, sorry that your sorry-ass boyfriend didn't have the decency and time to make actual reservations so you guys can eat. There's a McDonald's down the road, should be empty. This is where I don't understand people who say things like, thanks for ruining our night. What is the difference between their night and your night? There is no difference, none. The only proper response to that comment is you're welcome. In an especially snarky mood, possibly glad I could help. Such rude, entitled behavior. I'm surprised they didn't say that they are more important than you and more deserving of your seat. I'm glad you didn't give it up. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we will see you in the next video.